Welcome back to Circuit of Jerez, Ángel Nito. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. We are getting ready for the third race of the weekend for Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica. As you can see, cars currently heading out towards the grid as we get ready for the penultimate endurance race of the season. There will be this race this afternoon and then 3 more races. They will take place in Estoril at the end of November, about a couple of weeks' time. Well, not quite the end, third week of November in a couple of weeks' time. And that is where we will find out the identity of our champions for Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica. What a great season it has been. We've absolutely loved the racing that we've had this year, and it's Manuel Alves in the #1 car, who is the defending champion, the overall champion and the Pro-Am champion. You can see from your pictures on the screen there that Manuel Alves will be starting from pole position for this race. So he is very much in the box seats here to defend his title. He's currently 2 points clear of that car there. Certainly Dylan Pereira at the wheels in the Category 2 of this series. There's Dylan there with a headset on, just stood up looking in at his teammate Andre Fernandez, who will be doing the first stint in that car. But Dylan himself is second in the Category 2 points. His co-driver Andre Fernandez is third. But courtesy of 1 win each, Manuel Alves and Dylan Pereira are just 2 points apart at the top of the Category 2 standings. There's a lot of other drivers around, though, who would dearly love to take some silverware home this weekend. There's always lots of silverware in a Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica event, because not only do we have Category 1 and Category 2, but we also have the female trophy. And there is Francisca Queiroz, the defending Ladies' Cup champion, to give it its official title, the Ladies' Cup champion. And she is leading the way in the Ladies' Cup at the moment. We have a Pro-Am Cup, we have an Am Cup, we have the gentleman drivers, we have the team championship. So lots of drivers very much gunning for it. There's one of the gentleman drivers, Daniel Garcia, in the number 75 car. He's had a couple of 8th places in the 2 sprint races, one yesterday and one today. So all these drivers all looking to score points, but very much our attention will be on Manuel Alves, Dylan Pereira and Andre Fernandez. And you can see from your picture there that Fernandez is starting on the 2nd row of the grid. So a bit of work to do from there. So this is a bit different to what we've had already as we look at Felipe Carvalho and Hank van Zust in the number 41 car. What we've had so far been a couple of 20-minute sprint races. This is something altogether longer, a 50-minute plus 1 lap race with a mandatory pit stop. The pit window will open 10 minutes into, will open for 10 minutes, 20 minutes into the race. So at the 20th minute, for 10 minutes, the pit window will open. Every car will need to come in for a mandatory stop. In the case where it's a solo driver, the driver will need to exit the car, run around the car, and then get back into it again. As far as the cars that have 2 drivers, then there will be a driver change that will need to take place. So every driver will need to exit the car, even if they are solo drivers. We have minimum pit stop times. A minimum pit stop time of 120 seconds for pit entry to pit exit, but a number of the drivers have additional handicaps. We have a success handicap system here, so that and the driver, if they win, they get an additional minimum pit stop time of 10 seconds next time around. So we have the handicaps that are hanging over, so to speak, from the Navarra round, which took place back in September. So it's an additional 10 seconds for first in category, an additional 5 seconds for second in category, and additional 3 seconds for third in category. What it means is that Nuno Inocencio who was the category winner in Class 1 last time out, will have a minimum pit stop time of 130 seconds. And Manuel Alves will also have a minimum pit stop time of 130 seconds. That's the 120 plus the 10 seconds success handicap, we can call it that. His main competitor in the championship, though, is Andre Fernandez, Dylan Pereira. They have a minimum pit stop time, which is 123 seconds. So it means that they will effectively gain 7 seconds through the pit stop sequence. So let's quickly bring you the grid here. It is the number 1 car that starts on pole position. That's Manuel Alves. The number 77 car alongside, that is the car that has Jose Barros and Nuno Batista at the wheel. Then it's Alessandro Barambio and Borja Garcia, who share car 22. They are next up. And then it is the number 77 car of Jose Barros and Nuno Batista, who come up next. So the cars maybe a little bit out of sequence here in terms of what we're expecting for the championship. Manuel Alves, starting from the very, very front, will be looking to try and break clear as soon as possible and get clear, particularly of the number 17 car, which has Andre Fernandez at the wheel for the first stint. Dylan Pereira will be taking over after the pit stop sequence. Unlike the races earlier on today, which were standing starts, this race is a rolling start. So as you can see, the cars are behind the safety car at the moment, which now disappears off into the distance as we get ready to go here at the circuit Jerez. It is a 4.428 kilometer circuit, 13 turns, 8 to the right and 5 to the left. It's a track that is quite tricky for overtaking, so these grid positions are very, very important. But now the cars coming out onto the pit straight, we're waiting for those 5 red lights to go off, and when they go off, we will be ready to go racing, and off they go. And that's the 41 car onto the grass there, taking a very wide line out towards turn 1. But Manuel Alves stepping off that pole position. Car 77 in second place, challenging for that lead. So that's a car with 2 drivers, remember, the 77 car, but very lively for the number 41 car. So Manuel Alves, the solo pilot, stepping off that pole position and into the lead of the race. Remember, he is going to have a longer pit stop than many of the cars around him, so he is going to want to make hay while the sun shines. He's going to want to break clear. The rest of the cars just settling in behind the 41 car. Certainly that wild moment on the grass doesn't look to have done any damage, but look at this, a challenge further back, and that is onto Andre Fernandez, the number 88 car, Jorge Ramirez, to the inside of Andre Fernandez. So the car that is currently running second and third in category 2, getting relegated to position early doors. Now this is an endurance race, not a sprint race, so they've got to go the distance, which are not paid out until the absolute end. But losing positions early on, never great when you are fighting for a championship with just 1 round to go. Manuel Alves had a bit of pressure starting off, but that seems to have settled down now, and Alves now leading the way. So he breaks clear of the 77 car, the car that is driven by Jose Barros and Nuno Batista. I believe it is Barros that is at the wheel of the car for the first stint. So those first 2 cars just breaking clear of the 3rd place car, the number 22 car, which has Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia at the wheel. So there across the line goes Manuel Alves to complete the first lap of the race. And the Jose Barros car just behind, keeping him within sight. So everybody now just settling down a bit. This is a long race. It will be 50 minutes plus 1 lap. So when the clock strikes 0, it will be an additional lap after the lap that the drivers are on at the time. There's some challenges for position further back. They look like the 15 car to me, with Sasha Hebrard and Asia Gorostiza at the wheel, that was fighting for position. So everybody just settling down a bit there. There we are. There are the cars that are fighting, and that is Andre Fernandez that is coming under pressure from the 27 car, and that is João Macedo at the wheel of the 27 car. So João Macedo putting the pressure onto Andre Fernandez. So Fernandez would have scored points in the sprint race that he was in. His co-driver, Dylan Pereira, would have scored points for himself on the sprint race that he was in. Both drivers will score the points where that car finishes at the end of the endurance race, because both drivers will be taking a time at the wheel. So Dylan Pereira will be in the garage cheering on like mad, because he knows that his championship is also in the hands of Andre Fernandez. Dylan Pereira, a gold-rated driver by the FIA, very experienced, a championship winner in many mainstream categories, very much coaching Andre Fernandez in the number 17 car, Fernandez in the AM category, and his co-driver Dylan Pereira in the Pro-Am category. But at the moment, coming under a lot of pressure from João Macedo in the number 27 car. It's turn one, they come. So, having to very much focus on what's ahead and not be worrying too much about what is behind. That, I'm told, is the key to good racing. Well, that's easier said than done. And at the moment, Andre Fernandez will be aware that that car is breathing down his neck. Meanwhile, Manuel Alves is able to break clear up the road and leave the fights behind him. He has a clear track in front of him. I don't have a clock on my timing screen at the moment. In fact, I don't actually have a timing screen at the moment. Oh, there we do. There we go. As if by magic, we can see there the gap. 2 seconds. Make that 2.4 seconds between first and second. Manuel Alves doing very much what he did in the first sprint race, and that is just getting in front and opening up some space to the cars behind. 2.455 is the gap back to the Barros Batista car, the 77 car, then Barambio and Garcia in third place. Then Jorge Ramirez is ahead of the next car. Then it's the 27 car. In fact, the one that's registered as saying as number 6 on your timing screen is, in fact, Andre Fernandez. So Andre Fernandez in the 17 car. Not number 6, as it says on the graphic, in 5th place at the moment, but being monstered all the way by João Macedo in the 27 car. Macedo, who scored a podium, a 3rd place on his opening race of the season back in Portimao, albeit in a different car. So very much a quick pilot and looking very dialed in here this weekend. Got a 7th place in his sprint race yesterday. Andre Fernandez in the number 17 car got a 5th place in his sprint race yesterday. Of course, his co-driver Dylan Pereira taking the win in the 2nd sprint earlier on today. That car carrying a little bit more weight than the cars around it, because Dylan Pereira is a gold-rated driver by the FIA. Well, poor old Andre Fernandez is carrying a bit of punishment for that, because there's an extra 11.5 kilos on board to make up for that. It was 23 kilos of ballast on board that car when Dylan Pereira was driving it solo in the sprint race. But because they're sharing it, that ballast has been halved. It means that extra weight is going to really force him to think hard, because it makes all the difference. It makes the difference to braking, to acceleration, to direction change. So Andre Fernandez in that 5th place doing a great job holding off João Macedo. Meanwhile, while all that is going on, already with about 7 minutes of this race gone, Manuel Alves has opened up the gap at the front, knocking on the door of 4.5 seconds. So a really sterling job from the defending champion, who has been looking really classy here this weekend. He had a fairly difficult time in the 2nd sprint race earlier, finished in 3rd place. Unbelievably, that 3rd place was his worst finish of the season, his joint worst finish of the season, because Manuel Alves has been finishing 1st and 2nd in all bar 2 races this season. A phenomenal record in a series that is competitive with so many good drivers. Manuel Alves, the defending champion, and looking to make it a back-to-back title in the third season of Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica. Looking there at the number 88 car, Jorge Ramirez, and Jorge in fourth place. So sterling job there, doing a very, very solid job. Got a third place in the sprint race yesterday. Has had a second, and that was in Navarra, and a third place in the endurance at Valencia. So Jorge Ramirez, very much a driver on the ascendancy, as hard to say, last year, and currently the 992 AM champ, so the 2024 AM champ, and he is the defending champion, Jorge Ramirez, in the number 88 car, and he is still very much in contention coming into this weekend, 20 points behind Andre Fernandez in the AM Championship. So a bit of work to do there, particularly with Andre Fernandez just behind. So this is going to be significant in the AM Championship. He'll want to keep the number 17 car behind him. And as you can see, he's doing a good job because there's a fair old gap there back to Andre Fernandez, who has all of his attention taken up with Joao Macedo, bearing down on him in the red and white Porsche. Meanwhile, Manuel Alves continues to stretch his legs at the front. For those who like this kind of information, a 1:48.705 is his best lap time. So looking very quick, and with an open track in front of him, not having to deal with traffic or indeed challenges, he opens up that lead to now 6 seconds. And he'll want to do that because remember that his main championship rival, Dylan Pereira, will have a minimum pit stop time, which is 7 seconds less than him. So if he can get that gap up to 7 seconds or above, by the time we get to the pit window, then he will have neutralized that disadvantage to his main championship rival. And his main championship rival has Andre Fernandez at the wheel of the car at the moment, fending off the 6th place Joao Macedo car, the 27 car that is prepared by Monteros Competiciones, and bearing down on the AF&V Motorsport, the green car with Andre Fernandez at the wheel. We've got still another 9 3/4 minutes until the pit window opens, and the teams will be strategizing. So they will want the drivers who they perceive to be the quickest in terms of the 2 driver pairings. They'll want to get them into the pits late if they perceive them to be quickest and they're out on track at the moment. If the slower of the 2 drivers is out on track, they may want to get them in early in the pit window. And with Dylan Pereira way more experienced than Andre Fernandez. I mean, Fernandez, a driver that we've seen going from strength to strength. We've seen him over the winter in the Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe. He may, though, want to hand over to Dylan Pereira as soon as possible. There is the 36 car, and that has Maria Sanchez, Laura Camp, who are doing the driving on that. I believe that is Sanchez, who's at the wheel at the moment of that car. But giving her a lot of attention at the moment is Pablo Hernandez in the number 82 car for Phoenix Racing. Pablo Hernandez will want to try and get past. Got a 2nd place in the first sprint race this weekend, but earlier today, this morning, in the 2nd sprint race, had a torrid time and came home in last place in category 1. In fact, didn't make it to the end at all. So we'll want to be making up points as the number 36 car in front continues to circulate in that 12th place. So the 82 car just putting the pressure on. Pablo Hernandez, coming into this weekend, was leading the Category 1 Championship. Now finds the route past the 36 car of Maria Sanchez and comes sailing through to get that position pass. Sanchez flashing the lights. Come on, distract him into turn 1. That's what she says, but that's not happening. So the 82 car moving forwards. Pablo Hernandez. Remember, there are 2 categories here. So Pablo Hernandez moving up in Category 1. The Category 1 cars are the Porsche 911 GT3 Type 991.1 and 991.2. They have ABS. There are Category 2 cars, and they are the more up-to-date cars, and they are the 911 Type 992, the later, wider, more aggressive-looking cars. So we've got the Category 1 and the Category 2 cars, all racing in the same race, but fighting for their own individual championships. So Pablo Hernandez, coming into this weekend, was leading Nuno Inocencio in the number 44 car by 24 points. Alexandra Fonseca was third, but Fonseca is some 70 points back in the Category 1 championship. So really important for Pablo Hernandez to try and move forwards as quickly as possible. Inocencio in the 44 car, in second in the championship, but not showing up on the timing screen. So I think Nuno Inocencio, we saw him slowing suddenly in the sprint race earlier on today, and I believe that Inocencio has got a problem that has not allowed him to start this race, which is fairly disastrous in terms of a championship challenge for the number 44 car. Meanwhile, it looks like the battle has been fought for the time being and has been fended off, has been the number 27 car of Joao Macedo, because Andre Fernandez has now managed to open up a bit of a gap. So fifth place, looking a little bit more comfortable now, still a little way back from Jorge Ramirez in that fourth place at the moment. Manuel Alves continues to lead the way. 8.846 is the gap between first and second. So it means that when Manuel Alves comes in for his pit stop, as long as there is no safety car, he will be able to get out, and the additional success time that has been added will be neutralized. Of course, the safety car would change all of that, as we see a challenge here from the 41 car, Henk van Soest, I beg your pardon, and the number 15 car, Sascha Hebrard, and also Asia Gorostiza, and I believe it's Gorostiza who is at the wheel. Having said that, looking at the 41 car, yeah, Henk van Soest, looking certainly the quicker of the two in that 8th place, challenging for that position. The 15 car defending for all they're worth. But back to the pit window, I would expect that when the pit window opens in about 4.5 minutes, that Manuel Alves will want to get in and get out quickly in case there is a safety car, because of course if there was a safety car that came out, that 9.4 second gap would be reduced to nothing, and suddenly that extended pit stop that he's going to have to endure compared to the cars around him will suddenly really hurt. Whereas if he's got the pit stop out of the way, then clearly the extended pit stop is not an issue if he's managed to get in and get out. Still got 4 minutes before that happens, so Manuel Alves very much in control at the moment. In second place, it's the 77 car, Jose Barros, who is sharing with Nuno Batista. In third place, the 22 car has been such a potent combination this year. It is Alejandro Barambio, very quick driver who's come out of karting into Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica, and he is sharing that with Borja Garcia. The crowd here enjoying the autumn sunshine here in Jerez. This wonderful series. It started in Portugal, it will end in Portugal, but all the rounds in between have been on these Spanish tracks. We are very enjoying this Spanish sunshine here at Jerez as the Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica continues with 33 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. We continue to focus on the battle for 7th place, the number 15 car with Asia Gorostiza at the wheel. The car behind is the 41 car, Henk van Soest. Both drivers, Henk van Soest from Spain, and he really pushing as hard as he can, and Gorostiza also from Spain. Both drivers, the Spanish drivers, going wheel to wheel as they try and fight for that 7th place. Out down the hill they come. That's out of turn 5 along the back stretch. One of the fastest parts of the circuit here, up to about 235 kilometers an hour. Then the braking into the second gear, turn 6, taking at about 80 kilometers an hour. And then round into turn 7 they come. The sun quite low in the sky in the driver's eyes. So keeping the concentration, hitting the braking points, getting it right, really, really critical and a real challenge. So in this 50-minute race, remember, on the 20th minute, the pit window will open. So that is going to be in less than 2 minutes. That is when the strategy is going to come into play. So Manuel Alves will have a minimum pit stop time of 130 seconds. Andre Fernandez, Dylan Pereira will have a minimum pit stop time of 123 seconds. Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia will have a minimum pit stop time of 125 seconds as Henk van Zurst goes very deep into the corner. Rui Morita and Chloe Grant, it'll be a minimum of 123 seconds. That was also the case for Maria Sanchez, beg your pardon. 130 seconds for Nuno Inocencio, but of course he's not running in this race, and 125 seconds for Pablo Hernandez. Everybody else is 120 seconds. The time is measured from pit entry to pit exit, and you cannot go below that minimum pit stop time. If you do, there will be a sizable penalty incoming. The penalty is a deterrent for you not to go below the minimum pit stop time, but the drivers will want to cut it as close as possible because, of course, every thousandth of a second spent in the pits unnecessarily is time lost out on track. And look how hard under braking Asia Gorostiza is. You can see the sun in his eyes as well as he came along the straight. You can see it shining in his face. These cars have the Perspex windscreens, and the sun quite low in the sky can make it really difficult to see where you're going late in the afternoon. And this is quite late in the afternoon in terms of daylight starting to fade, the shadows getting long, the headlights on these cars. But the 15 car is doing a good job, hitting all the braking points, getting everything exactly as it should be. That's Asia Gorostiza at the wheel of the number 15 GT Corsa car. Behind, still pushing all the way, Henk van Zurst in the number 41 car for Squalo Competition. You can see there's been a change in the graphics, because while we've been looking at that, we've had a change for 5th place. So Andre Fernandez has been relegated a position. He had got comfortable, but you can see, and now he looks like he has dropped back another one. So has there been a problem for the number 17 car? Yes, there has. He's dropping down the order. You can see that on your timing screen. I haven't seen any visual confirmation of that, but according to the timing screen, the number 27 car, Joao Macedo, has moved up to 5th place. The 15 car, the 41 car. Now, is that something that's happened out on track? Yes, he's into the pit. So it is because the pit window is open. So we thought there might be an issue, but the pit window is open. So that is why we thought he might come in early. That really is early. So he's come in as soon as the pit window opens. So stand by your beds. Don't panic. It wasn't a problem for Andre Fernandez. He was peeling off into the pits to hand over to Dylan Pereira. So remember, there is that minimum pit stop time, 123 seconds. So getting the pain out of the way nice and early. Dylan Pereira, who is the gold-rated driver, remember that he is the quicker of the two, and Andre Fernandez will not consider it an insult to say that, because Dylan Pereira, the more experienced, wants to get behind the wheel as quickly as possible. Right, this is a driver getting out of the car. Manuel Alves, we thought he'd want to get it done quickly in case of a safety car. That is a great demonstration of a driver going for a walk on an autumn afternoon here at Jerez, and that's exactly what Manuel Alves has done. Out from the lead of the race, he's come into the pits. He's jumped out of the car, he's done the 360, he's got back in. The idea being is it simulates a driver getting out and another driver getting in. Here comes Dylan Pereira at the wheel of the number 17 car. So out of the pit lane, he will come. So everybody's starting to get the strategy very much into action. At the moment, it means the 77 car takes the lead temporarily. Jorge Ramirez doing his loop of the car. It's a great way of getting your step count up. Back into the number 82 RGB Racing Team Porsche. Here comes Dylan Pereira giving it full beans. He's got an open track in front of him now, so he will be wanting to try and do the undercut on the cars around him. So there are cars that will be pitting, those that have pitted, those that are pitting, and those that will pit. So an element of confusion at the moment, but as things stand, Jose Barros leading the way. Nuno Batista, who only does the endurance races on these weekends, and he allows Jose Barros to do the sprint races. So Batista will be getting behind the wheel of the 77 car. I get a feeling that they might bring the 77 car in quite late in the pit window because I think Jose Barros, probably the quicker of the two and with an open track in front of him, will want to maximize that space in front. Dylan Pereira giving it the large, bumping across the curves, hitting the apexes, getting it up onto two wheels. Up ahead is the 27 car. So Joao Macedo, Brianna McDonald will be the person who takes over the 27 car. At the moment, up into third place is the 27 car. We've got lapped cars, we've got unlapped cars, everybody all mixed in together. But at the moment, it's the 77 and the 88. But Jorge Ramirez saying, what's the hurry? Oh, he breaks into a slight trot. Few high fives on the way round. Now that is how you style out a pit stop. Great stuff from Jorge Ramirez. He has time to walk, to wave, to high five, and back into the seat of the number 88 car. So that'll be his pit stop done and dusted. At the moment, Pereira trying to work his way past lap traffic, trying to push his way forward. So he's dispatched Joao Macedo in the 27 car. Remember, these are cars that are on different laps to each other because some have pitted and some haven't. But in about 5 minutes, it will all become clear. At the moment, the 77 car stays out. The 27 car in second place. Having seen Dylan Pereira getting a lap back, then it's the 15 car, then the 88 car with the stylish pit stop, and then 35, Francisca Queros in 5th place. But all this will change once all the pit stops are done and dusted. We've still got about 4 3/4 minutes remaining, but Dylan Pereira knows that when the cars around him are coming into the pits, when they come out, we're all going to be kind of on the same bit of real estate, really. So we're going to be he's going to want to make up as much space as possible. If he can get those hot laps in now, then that's a less that he may have to pass on the track. Right, in comes the next car. That's was a little bit of a Mamma Mia moment going on there. Hands in the air. I believe that was Daniel Garcia who was into the pits in the 75 car. So out comes Mr. Cool in the 88 car, Jorge Ramirez. Out he comes, just working past the 11 car, Alexandra Fonseca and Helder Moura at the wheel of the number 11 car. In fact, it's saying Carvalho on the screen, so maybe there's been a driver change on that one. TBC, who's at the wheel of the number 11 car, but currently not troubling the front runners, so that is not so much of an issue. Out of turn 5, down the hill, along the back straight, Jorge Ramirez. Pit stop's done and dusted. You can see the sun shining in his eyes as he heads towards the second gear, 80-kilometer turn 6. And remember, just coming into that corner, one of the fastest points of the track, around over 230 kilometers an hour. Having to hit your braking points, getting it right. You can see there, those gravel traps do what they are meant to do, and that is stop the cars if you run off the circuit. They're deep. You do not want to be getting into those. So hitting the braking points, really important here, despite the sun in the eyes of the drivers. 3 minutes of the pit window still remaining. Once the pit window closes, then we've got what is effectively a sprint race all the way to the flag. The number 77 car, Jose Barros, still remaining out on track at the moment. The 27 car in second place, the 15 car in third. Manuel Alves has stopped, the first of the stoppers, now up to second place because 27 is into the pits. So it will be Brianna McDonald who will jump behind the wheel of the 27 car. So Manuel Alves now the leading stopper, the driver that leads the way, is going to have to come in the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds. The 77 car. There is the number 88, Jorge Ramirez, after the stylish pit stop, back out on track in 4th place at the moment, but in the net 3rd place in terms of the stoppers. Down the hill we come. Manuel Alves. He will know that Dylan Pereira will be throwing caution to the wind as he tries to push forwards. Pereira currently in 5th place. I think that's going to be a 4th place by the time the 77 car comes in for a stop. So Alves giving it everything, pushing forwards, ready to try and take the win. The 77 car up in front. So Manuel Alves getting ready to re-inherit the lead of this race. 90 seconds of the pit window remaining. There is the 77 car. Jose Barros with Nuno Batista sharing the driving duties. The 77 car. Currently, Jose Barros in 5th place in the championship for Category 2. Manuel Alves leading the way. Right, here we go. So, into the pits comes the 77 car. So, the lead handed back to Manuel Alves. Out across the line, he will come. So, now, with the 77 car into the pits, we will get an indication of what the gaps are going to be like. So, the 22 car into 2nd place. So, the 22 car, I believe that's Borja Garcia. I don't have confirmation of which drivers are doing the 1st and the 2nd stints, but I believe it is Borja Garcia who is at the wheel of that car. We know it's Jorge Ramirez in the 88 car, currently in 4th place, but of course, these cars are all going to come round and get that lap back on the 77 car, which is currently in the pits, with Nuno Batista getting ready to jump behind the wheel. Nuno, who has a big CV in GT and Legends racing, I do believe, and he will enjoy getting behind the wheel for the 1st and indeed last time this weekend in a racing situation, because it has been Jose Barros who's done the 2 sprint races. So here comes Dylan Pereira, up ahead of him, the 88 car, Jorge Ramirez. So this is going to be important. He's still got a lot of work to do because Manuel Alves up ahead is going to outscore him in points. Pereira will want to get up behind Jorge Ramirez as quickly as possible and dispatch him, get those valuable points. Next up then, it will be the Barambio Garcia car, the number 22 car, which I believe will have Borja Garcia at the wheel now. And then the main rival, Manuel Alves. We'll see what that is in a minute as the cars continue. Right, Pereira closing in on Jorge Ramirez at a rate of knots. 5th place at the moment. Now Alves takes the lead, having gone past the pits, relegating the 77 car. Now it is the 22 car up. The 77 car will be coming out of the pits very shortly. Pereira's already caught up with Jorge Ramirez, so this will be for 4th place. And in front of them has come the 77 car, I think. Yeah, so that's a back-marking car that'll want to get out of the way. Pereira is impatient. He's only got 18.5 minutes left in this race to put all of his immense skill and talent to good use to try and catch up with Manuel Alves. But Alves has a clear track in front of him, and he's some 5.2 seconds clear of the 22 car. So Pereira gets the job done, sorts out a back marker at the same time as well. The back marker being Daniel Garcia, and moves his way forwards. So out we come. It is Pereira who picks up a position, continues to move forwards. Manuel Alves leading the 22 car by over 5 seconds, looking to extend his championship lead. So Alves currently with an open track in front of him. looking comfortable. Still has the fastest lap of the race, a 1:48.705. Dylan Pereira throwing caution to the wind, giving it everything that he can to try and close in on the car in front. Currently in 4th place, so the 77 car, Batista, is 1.7 seconds ahead of him. So 1.7 seconds, that is what it looks like heading into turn 1. So that'll be the next step forwards for Pereira, trying to get through to a podium position, but he doesn't want a podium, he doesn't want second, he really only wants 1st place. So the gap last time across the line was 1.7 seconds. The Nuno Batista is about 0.266 behind the 22 car of Borja Garcia. So potential certainly to get up to 2nd place for Dylan Pereira with the pace that he's showing, but can he get up with Manuel Alves? So at the moment, Alves 1.246 clear of the 22 car. So there, Dylan Pereira giving it all that he can in the number 17 car, trying to close in on the 77 car. How much further can he go? How many points can he get? Remember, coming into this event, it was 2 points separating Manuel Alves and Dylan Pereira in the Category 2 Championship. That was also the case in the Pro-Am Championship as well, the Pro-Am Cup. Alves leading by 2 points on both of those. Look how quickly Pereira has closed in on Nuno Batista. He's going to want to dispatch him as quickly as possible. This will be for a podium position. So to the inside, then to the outside. Doesn't hang about. He knows time is running out. 15.5 minutes remaining of this, the final race of the weekend for Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica here in Jerez. And along past the start-finish line they come in towards turn 1. Pereira through into 3rd place. Next up is the 22 car. He'll need to try and close in as quickly as possible on Borja Garcia. So now Dylan Pereira will be giving it qualifying laps all the way. Remember, he has got additional weight on that car on account of being a gold-rated driver. He sails past the Carvalho 41 car with relative ease. Certainly the blue flags being obeyed here. I think no one wants to stand in the way of Dylan Pereira, man on a mission, as he fights his way forwards with less than 15 minutes of this race remaining. Manuel Alves leading the way. So Alves is the leader ahead of car 22. Borja Garcia. Then it's Dylan Pereira in the number 17 car. Then Nuno Batista being rapidly left behind by the number 17 car. Then Jorge Ramirez in 5th place. In the number 15 car, Sasha Hebrard is in 6th place ahead of Francesca Queiroz, the leading Ladies Cup driver. And a mention to Chloe Grant, who along with Rui Morita in the number 33 car has been reborn in that car this weekend, was looking so rapid, currently in 9th place. And there is Chloe Grant, and there is Manuel Alves about to come round and put a lap on her. The 27 car stepping aside as well, with Brianna McDonald at the wheel, not wanting to get involved in someone else's battle. The 22 car, 1.283 seconds back from the race leader. Has been looking so rapid. It's a combination of Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia. The two drivers have worked together and have been so strong, and they just feel like they've been gaining momentum as this season has progressed and really looking like a formidable force. You can see how quickly they're closing in on Manuel Alves, and I'm thinking Manuel Alves, once he got out in front, was not anticipating a challenge from the number 22 car. Well, it happened in the second sprint race, which was earlier on this afternoon, because the 22 car went wheel to wheel with and indeed passed Manuel Alves for a podium position. And now it feels like a bit of an action replay because the 22 car is now closing in at the rate of knots on the race leader. Manuel Alves will have a sense of deja vu. The driver who's finished first and second, or first or second in every race bar 2 this season. And in those 2, he's finished third. That means that Manuel Alves, the defending champion, has finished on the podium in every single race this season. He cannot afford a non-finish, and Borja Garcia will be aware of that. He'll be aware that he can take a more aggressive stance in trying to get past the number 1 car, because Alves will be thinking about that championship hunt. A non-finish now would be catastrophic for a championship challenge. So Manuel Alves will want to win this race, but he'll know the absolute worst case scenario, he must finish in second place. He needs to finish in front of his main rival, and Dylan Pereira is a little way back. Now, according to the timing screens, 14.232 in third place. So Pereira, without a safety car, is going to struggle to get up with the second place car, whether that is Garcia or whether that is Alves. You can see again the sun shining in the eyes as they head into turn 6 and then round into turn 7. The corner that's taken in third and fourth gear, about 190k, and then the sweeping turn 8, 150k. This circuit, which is made up of low, medium and high speed corners, really challenging every discipline that the driver has. Keep an eye on the time that's coming down between Pereira and second place Garcia. So Dylan Pereira in that third place, just doing it all, closing in. At the moment, Manuel Alves leading the way, 1.241. Looks like he's responded a little to the challenge of Borja Garcia. Garcia looking deadly, hitting all the apexes, hitting all the braking points. Out onto the pit straight we come once again. Manuel Alves first, second, running together. It was 1.241 last time across the line. This time 1.4, so Alves has responded by 0.2 of a second, but he's got to keep this up for another 10 minutes plus 1 lap. What are the tyres like on this car? Remember, there are no tyre changes. Whatever tyres you start this race on have to go the distance. And although the Michelin tyres are great, they are pushed to the limits to get to the end in one of these races. A lot of Porsche Cup racing, not normally, more than 30 minutes. This is a 50-minute race, certainly putting additional pressures on the tyres. So drivers who take too much out early on can often find themselves without any grip, without any ability to turn and stop as the race winds down. As Manuel Alves got plenty in his back pocket, Garcia closes the gap down again, 1.167. Borja Garcia, man on a mission. Dylan Pereira still 14.5 seconds back. So not really making inroads into this battle at the moment. Well, I've just said that. It's just refreshed at 12.8. So Pereira, maybe he is making inroads, but the clock is starting to tick down. Jorge Ramirez in fourth place. The 77 car of Nuno Batista is next in fifth place. Then is Sasha Hebrard in the 15 car. Then it is Francesca Queiroz. Then the leading Category 1 car once again. It's Chloe Grant and Rui Morita as Manuel Alves works his way past the back-marking 82 car, Pablo Hernandez. He is in Category 1. He's not interested in fighting with Manuel Alves. So Alves putting those back-marker cars in the way, trying to get them between himself and the 22 car as well. Something of a buffer, maybe as a rear gunner. Here comes Dylan Pereira once again out across the line. He's taking time out of second place, but not really enough to do anything about moving up the step on the podium. It's 12.614, but time now starting to run out. We've already had 42 minutes of this race. We now only have 8 minutes remaining. Manuel Alves with all the pressure, but not from Dylan Pereira. The pressure is coming from Borja Garcia. Garcia very much has him in his sights. And if sprint race 2 this morning is anything to go by, then we know that Garcia will not give up, that he's going to maybe back off, allow things to cool down a bit, then he's going to launch his attack. At one point today, it looked like Manuel Alves had a second place covered off, but then the 22 car came back with a vengeance and found the route past. So Manuel Alves has got to hold on. It was with about 7 minutes remaining, if I remember rightly this morning. So Alves will be aware of that because there are 7.25 minutes remaining of this race 15 of an 18 race season for Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica 2025. This is your race leader, the orange and black car, Manuel Alves for Lob Motorsport. Second place, the silver car, the number 22, Alejandro Barambio did the first stint. Now Borja Garcia, both drivers from Spain in the GT Corsa car in second place. Closing in, the gap is down to less than 9/10 of a second. Out across the line they come. Manuel Alves will need to use all of his skill, all of his experience to focus on what's ahead, to not focus on what's behind. But another 0.3 of a second coming out of the lead, the 22 car. Garcia putting the pressure on into the corner. They come, turns 2, turns 3, out towards turns 4 and 5. It'll be on the exit of turn 5, where Borja Garcia will get an opportunity to potentially pick up a slipstream. Will he try and sell the dummy? Will he try and make a pass? We are about to find out. Manuel Alves leading the way. Here we go then, out of turn 5, in towards turn 6. The car's full tilt here, up to 235 kilometers an hour into the sunshine. Then the heavy braking. Alves has this covered off at the moment. A little over half a second between them. But Garcia has not given up. Into turn 6 they come, and to turn 7. This is going to be a tense last 5.75 minutes of this race. Manuel Alves holding on for all he's worth. Dylan Pereira looks like he's out of ideas in third place. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to close in to this lead duo, but the identity of the winner of this race very much up for grabs as the light starts to fade here at circuit of Jerez and El Nieto. And it's Manuel Alves who still leads the way at the moment into the center chicane. Out into turn 12. Now Garcia looking close. He's picking up a slipstream. He looks to the inside. Manuel Alves defending for all he's worth. Into turn 13, they will come out onto the pit straight. It's still Alves at the moment. He's weaving, but he can't change direction under braking. We're going to get a challenge on the outside into turn 1. Garcia's going to try and go the long way around. Deja vu from the sprint race this morning, but Alves is wise to that. He tries to give him the squeeze as much as he dare. He's still got a nose in front. This is for the lead of the race. The two cars bounce off each other, but it's Garcia who gets a nose in front. Now Manuel Alves tried to come back. He hasn't looked to the outside. Remember, he cannot afford a non-finish in this race, but he wants those points. He goes to the inside of Garcia, but still Garcia in the lead. Has it held off? 4.25 minutes remaining. Out of turn 5 they come once again. Fantastic stuff here at Jerez. Alves to the inside into turn 6. Garcia has this covered off at the moment. Pereira still too far back to get involved in this battle. This is the fight for the lead. Is the back marking car in front going to do something that will affect the lead? Oh, we've got a car into the barriers. This may well bring out a caution or a safety car. So a car that is into the barriers. So what is going to happen here? 3.75 minutes remaining. I've got one eye on the screen to see whether we get any kind of caution, because a safety car could turn this race on its head. At the moment, it's Garcia who leads the way from Manuel Alves. It looks as though things are carrying on under green flag for the time being. At the moment, Garcia has broken clear. Borja Garcia, having worked so hard to get past Manuel Alves, now working through the back marking traffic. 3.25 minutes remaining. Under braking once again out onto the pit straight. They will come on the exit of turn 13. Your race leader, the number 22, Borja Garcia, sharing the driving duties with Alejandro Barambio. flashing the lights, alerting the back-marking cars up ahead that he is coming through. Less than 3 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. Can Manuel Alves do anything to get back into the lead of this race? It looks like it's going to be just a little bit too much, but the points for Manuel Alves will extend his gap at the top of Category 2 Championship, because Dylan Pereira is some 10.5 seconds back in that third place and not in a position to challenge. 2.5 minutes remaining. It looks like the car that had the problem is out of harm's way, so we're going to be green flag, it looks like, all the way to the end of the race. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. We're up with the back marking traffic. This could be very critical. Francesca in the car steps out of the way. Beg your pardon, Francesca Queiroz steps out of the way, doesn't get involved in the lead fight, and the leader is able to sail through with 2 minutes remaining of this race. Remember, also the leader in Category 1 is the 33 car of Rui Morita and Chloe Grant, looking very rapid in the Category 1 race, but our eyes very much on Category 2 and the overall race. It is still Garcia who leads the way with a little over 90 seconds plus 1 lap remaining. Manuel Alves did all that he could. He had his elbows out. He made that car as wide as possible, but the 22 car was all about coming through. They took an endurance win at Valencia. That was Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia, and they're looking for their second endurance win of this year. They are a little over 1 minute plus 1 lap away from that, so it's going to be what remains of this lap, and then it'll be one more, because I don't think they're going to get back to the start-finish line before the clock strikes 0. There is your race leader, the number 22, Borja Garcia. Bided his time, waited for the right moment, didn't do anything dramatic, nothing drastic, and then, as he did in the sprint race this morning, pounced on Manuel Alves and stole away his dreams of the top step of the podium. But second place for Manuel Alves will put him in such a strong position as we head into the final round of the championship in Estoril at the end of November. At the moment, second place looks to be as far as he's going to be able to get. The clock at 15 seconds. Our race leader, if he doesn't get back to the start-finish line when the clock strikes 0, it will be what remains of this lap and then one more. The clock currently strikes 0, so we're heading into the Senna chicane. It will be just over 1 lap, just over 4.4 kilometers to take a well-earned victory. But Manuel Alves will stretch his lead in the championship. Dylan Pereira, 8.6 seconds back, so he has been taking chunks out of that second place, but he's not going to make up 8.6 seconds in 1 lap unless Manuel Alves has a problem. I beg your pardon, the checkered flag is out, so looks like the checkered flag has come out before the +1 lap, so it is already a win for car 22. So victory in the endurance race for Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia. That caught us napping because the clock had struck 0 on the previous lap, but whichever way, I don't think it was ever going to change anyway. It is a victory for car 22. Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia. Manuel Alves did all that he could to hold on to the lead of that race. Second place, well, he might be disappointed it's not a win, but he has extended his lead over Dylan Pereira in the championship, who comes home in third place along with Andre Fernandez. Jorge Ramirez in car 88 comes home in fourth place ahead of the 77 of Nuno Batista and Jose Barros. Then it is the 15 car that comes next, Sasha Hebrard and Asia Gorostiza, and then it is Francisca Queiroz who comes home in 7th place. In 8th place, leading the way in the Category 1, that is Chloe Grant and Rui Morita. So, what a great race that turned out to be. It was a slow burner, but it certainly proved to be very exciting. And in the end, what a fight we had for the lead. The headline from Jerez, it's a second endurance win of the season for car 22, Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia. So as the sun comes down, we've just about got it in before it starts to get dark. What great racing under the building that is nicknamed the UFO. I wonder why. Over the top of the start-finish line here at Circuit of Jerez Ángel Nieto. Of course, the circuit that has hosted the Spanish Grand Prix in the past. And named in honor of a 13 times world champion motorcyclist, Ángel Nieto. And what a great circuit it is. And there is the congratulations being offered by Alejandro Barambio. Such a great driver. Both Barambio and Garcia, lovely people and really talented drivers. And taking the win in the endurance race. Here we go. The outpouring of emotions. And there in the t-shirt, that's Alejandro Barambio. You can feel like he really meant that, don't you? And Borja Garcia with the helmet. Manuel Alves, he surely will be happy with that. Although it wasn't a win, it's extended his position at the top of the point standings, because the green car, his main rival in the championship, is behind him. And there is Dylan Pereira with helmet. With hands on the hips is Andre Fernandez, another great driver who has just been getting quicker and quicker. And of course, Dylan Pereira, as a gold-rated driver, coaching Andre Fernandez as well. He removes the helmet, knows they've got a lot of work to do in Estoril on the 22nd and the 23rd of November, when this championship is concluded. So silence falls over the circuit as race 15 of an 18 race season comes to a close. And what a race it has proven to be. Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica 2025. We were thoroughly entertained as the race got going, and it was Manuel Alves who had it all under control at the very, very start. A lot of drivers pushing for position in those opening laps, but the one that was going to be important for the championship, Andre Fernandez, getting caught up in the traffic, and it was Jorge Ramirez who sailed past, relegated him down the order, and Ramirez made his way further forwards. There were fights up and down the pack. The 36 and the 82 car are both in category 1, so they were both looking for points in their respective championships. Some wild and exciting action going on in the racing in the evening sunshine. It all shook up. It was an early pit stop for Andre Fernandez, pretty well as soon as the pit window opened. Caught us all napping, that one did. Dylan Pereira behind the wheel of that car, he knew he had to pull the pin, he had to get it on. There, Jorge Ramirez just doing it all in style. High five on the way round, had a time to stop for a cup of tea as well. Then back into the seat he came and continued on his way to eventually bring the car home in 4th place. A good, solid drive, bit of drifting going on. And Jose Barros was one of the drivers into the pits, of course, sharing with Nuno Batista. Great to have Nuno back behind the wheel of the car for the endurance race. The man on a mission, Dylan Pereira, was throwing caution to the wind. He was working his way past placemen. He was working his way past lapped cars as he tried to set about moving forwards. Well, he dispatched Jose Barros and Nuno Batista with some gusto, but Manuel Alves was leading the way but he was being closed down by Borja Garcia. And this was all going to come to a head in the closing stages of the race, while Pereira continued to fight his way forwards to try and put the pressure on at the front. The pressure was on Manuel Alves, and what an attack from Borja Garcia. Eventually, he emulated what he'd done in the sprint race earlier today, challenging into turn one, going the long way around. Manuel tried to give him as much of a squeeze as he dared, but he gave him enough room. Robin is racing, and the 22 car got into the lead. Alves, though, was fighting hard to try and come back. Then we had that car into the barrier. I think that was Brianna McDonald. Didn't recognise it from the back, and that's who went into the barrier. Didn't cause us any cautions. We had what felt like a slightly premature checkered flag, but it turned out to be a win for Alejandro Barambio. Borja Garcia second, Manuel Alves. And then rocking up in the background, you can see Dylan Pereira, who was to be greeted by Andre Fernandez for the third step of the podium. It was an action-packed race. It was spectacular. It was the penultimate endurance race of 2025. And now our attention will turn from Spain. We're going to be heading back to Portugal very, very soon. 3 weeks' time, to be precise, is when we will be back. And we are going to be heading to Estoril. That legendary circuit in Portugal is where this season is going to come to a close. The 22nd to the 23rd of November, as has been the case all season long. We will have race 1 on the Saturday, race 2 on the Sunday. Both of those will be 20-minute sprint races. And then gloves off for one last time this season. Race 3 will be the endurance race. And it will be at the end of that we will discover the identity of this year's championships. Will it be Manuel Alves who will win once again the overall and the Pro-Am Championship? Will it be Rui Morita who will win the Gentleman Drivers Championship? Will it be Jorge Ramirez who can win the AM Championship? Francisco Queiroz will be looking to defend the Ladies Cup Championship, and Lob Motorsport will be looking to defend the Teams Championship. It's all to play for. We have 15 races down, 3 remaining. Join us in Estoril on the 22nd of November for the conclusion of Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica 2025. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.